If you are still laughing about Robyn Brown running into a fan and smelling like onions, do I have another story for you? No, seriously. If you watch Sister, Wives, you know that they. Internationally released shows and, obviously abroad their episodes, are different, edited differently and contain different clips, and recently. The UK has their version of Season 20, coming out, meaning their social media. In the UK is dropping their clips of what's coming up this season, and I noticed that in the very first show, the scene with Robyn and Kody getting the kids ready for school was vastly different than what we saw in the United States. One thing in particular was that Kody admitted, full stop, that when he was in open marriage or polygamy, I hate that they call it multiple marriage. It's called polygamy. When he was in polygamy, that he felt like he was always interrupting the lives of his wives, like he would just show up one day and the wives would be upset. And, in fact, he admits that Robyn would get angry and say, "You're interrupting my life." We didn't see that part. We did see the part where Robyn tells the camera that it was its. Different now because prior to their monogamous friendship, which basically was for the entire time they were married. So I'm not really sure what she's talking about, but maybe the hazy times that he actually left her house and slept at someone else's place, that he was only around for a couple days and she didn't have to deal with him as much. So having him around as much has been different. I think you'll remember this part.
It's definitely a different balance because he wasn't there all the time. You know, it was a couple times a week. I think because he had so many wives, he didn't have to check in the same way as you would as a monogamous. You know, with open marriage, you think you would need more accountability, but I think I'm being held more responsible now with Robyn.
Now, on the surface, I know that these two are compulsive liars, so I don't believe usually anything that comes out of their mouth, but I do think that the editors that do the UK version are less sympathetic to Kody and Robyn because they show parts of the interview that aren't like as high level, and that I feel like painting Kody even in a worse light than possible because that clip I showed you, that all was in the United States version. So Robyn is like, yeah, it's just different cause he's only around a couple days a week and now I have to get used to him being around all the time. And then that clip of Kody saying, and I am getting hugged more, accountable now than I was back in the days of polygamy. What we didn't see is what he meant by the level of accountability. Okay, so the UK version has him talking about what it means for him to not have to be responsible. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's being held responsible because Robyn is a more evil person or because Robyn is a better speaker, which is what they would like you to believe in the United States, and that she's more forthright and she's more bold. No, it's that prior to when he had all the women and he was in multiple relationships, none of the women actually had to bring their problems to him. And he knew that because when he was showing up at their house, they were giving him their best face, and he benefited from that greatly. And now, because they all kissed his ass before, now that he's in a monogamous relationship, he actually has to walk through and deal with all of the crap. He can't just run away to another woman's house. I mean, he could. I wouldn't doubt that Kody has cheated on Robyn. I wouldn't wonder if he engages in extramarital affairs. I have zero fear that that has likely happened because I can't see this guy who needs so much attention being happy after years with all these different people with one lady, and just knowing his personality and how controlling he is and how he needs constant attention. I just don't see that from his friendship with Robyn. So in the UK version, he actually talks about what happens when you're in plural marriage or polygamy and the perks that he would receive. Like when you're with 4 wives in multiple marriage, there's an understanding and some freedom that they sometimes will give you. He's this. Isn't easy for him. He's working very hard. He'll be here soon, and I want to be a safe place for him when he comes. So your wife is in a state of like holding space for you, and it should go both ways. So this we didn't see in the United States version of him saying that. When you are in a rel relationship like this with theirs 4 women there, all fighting and vying for your attention, and you show up into their lives on the 4th day or whatever it is, and you're there with them. They are on their best behavior because they know that you can go to another woman's house. And then they give you grace because I guess you're so busy and it's so hard and it's so tough for you to be able to like handle the stress of all of this. And that because they're putting on their best looks and they're keeping sweet and they're not trying to add to the confusion that they give space for him. But he doesn't respond because he doesn't have to. I mean, that's basically what he said. They all gave me grace. They all basically kowtowed to me, waited on me, did whatever I wanted, made my life, whatever.
And I didn't have to do it for them. He doesn't say why he didn't have to do it for them. Because theory, just because you have different partners doesn't mean you shouldn't care about each one individually. What he's not saying is that I didn't have to. I didn't have to do that because if I got mad at this one and this one wasn't behaving, then I
could just go over to that house because that house, that one wanted to cater to me and be nice to me. He's essentially saying that he was in one-sided relationships with these women and they did whatever he wanted them to do and kissed his ass when he was around because they were so happy that he was even in their company, which made it so he didn't have to respond anything. He liked having his ass kicked.
He like ass kiss. He like getting, all of the attention, all of the praise, all of the praise. It was a low amount of work that he had to put into those relationships because all he had to do was show up. They were the ones that were supposed to do everything. Cook for him, clean for him, cater to him, and he didn't have to put in an
effort with them because they knew that if they complained, he would go somewhere else. Now, let me just show you how he says that this has changed with Robyn. But in monogamy, it's like there's definitely a space that I find myself where I need to hold room for. Robyn, and I think she was giving me a lot of freedom. I mean, I'm just constantly aware of things that I did wrong with Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn. Hearing this actually made me feel like disgusted for the other women. Truthfully, I felt horrified. I'd never heard him say something like this in the United States version. I'm sure because this would actually admit that he was faking it because if you're a man and you're in a relationship and you're not holding space, which I hate these terms that these people use. Just how hard is it to say to unconditionally love in any healthy relationship? You should be a safe space and you should hold space. And the fact that you have to say you need to hold space and tell yourself that you need to hold space. What does that even say about you? And what does that say about what you were doing with your other relationships? Kody's acting like he's discovered something important. The same way that Janelle has learned something meaningful that you don't need freedom to make decisions or that everything doesn't need to be on Group or you can choose yourself. His discovery is, well, I guess I'm supposed to hold space for something for my spouse. Marriage 101 is for better or for worse, for sickness and in health, till death do us part. Right? So, you're supposed to love your partner in the good, times and the bad, when they're well and when they're happy. You're supposed to. Ride with them, be their rock, regardless of how hard it gets. Now, there's some reasons you should absolutely get a divorce, but the purpose of a marriage is it's meant to be about pure love, forgiveness, and working through things, and not being selfish. So, if he's having like this insight, he's saying that I didn't hold room for the others, so that means he loved them based upon state, which means I'll be your partner as long as you don't challenge me. I'll be your partner as long as you do what I want. I'll be your partner as long as you make me the food I like and tell me how great I am and you respect what I do and you what I say and you allow me to be the authority. I'll be your partner as long as X, Y, and Z. Everything is built on a condition which matches exactly what each one of the wives have said, like whenever things got bad with him, it always turned out to be something like, well, if you do this or you do that, I will love you. You just need to be more lovable. That's what Christine always said. He told me that I needed to be more lovable. He treated these women like business agreement, like they didn't have any heart, and it's not an epiphany or even deep to say you should hold space for your spouse. What does that tell you about Kody and Robyn's relationship? If that before all. The other wives left, she gave him freedom to do whatever he wanted. She gave him the benefit of the doubt. And she still does that to this day, by the way. She still constantly placates him and pacifies him and allows him. So I still don't think he really makes space for her. I think his idea of keeping space for her is letting her buy things. Kody does a lot of yelling and screaming, and he says things that are very, very mean. But when he says and makes comments like this that are extremely cruel without being mean, just being honest, this too. Me is worse than when he's yelling and screaming and trying to control them, because here he is saying that marriage is a deal and it was a exchange where as long as the women were friendly and they kept the peace, he showed up for them. But the moment they had bad thoughts or opinions or walls, he viewed it as an unpleasant. He is 100% reinforcing the best customer fallacy that Miss Robyn Brown claims that she treated him. He famously said, and Robyn famously said that Kody is treated like her best friend, like it's a retail connection, not a marriage. It means that as long as Robyn catered to him and as Robyn did
whatever he wanted and was doing whatever he needed and didn't ask for anything in her in return, then he'll hold space for her. So even with Robyn, he's not a good partner. And I don't like Robyn at all, by the way. I think she's manipulative. I think she is cunning. But I also know that in the system that Robyn grew up in the childhood that she had and the family that she
came from, she was raised to be loyal and submissive and give up her body because that's what makes him happy, not say no to his advances, No, make him the food he wants. Look how he wants, wear the clothes that he wants, don't push back. I mean, yes, you see her push back, but you also see that she doesn't push back because he treats people badly and she doesn't. Stop him. Like any decent wife, if their husband was behaving the way that Kody does, I would see most women not be fans of that. Why would you want to be with a man that mistreats all of his children, that mistreats all of his exes, because the way that he models and treats other people in his life is how He will treat you when you're gone. It's also harsh because he's admitting to being emotionally lazy. So he's admitting that after 25 years, 30 years, with these people, he took no accountability. He was never held responsible for anything. He took the way of least resistance. He let the women do all the heavy work, including the child raising, the job, the taking care of the family, the emotional labor of parenting, and keeping the big picture was put onto the women. And then all he did was bounce between houses getting the benefits while they all did the work for him. And when the wives started wanting a real partnership, he couldn't do it. And when they were together demanding real partnerships, he's acting like that. Demand of just being close and weak and having a normal relationship was a rule changer that broke their bond, that broke their agreement that as long as we're together, I get whatever I want. But what happened was those women just stopped claiming that the bare minimum of what he gave was enough. He's acknowledging that he emotionally neglected these women, and it was something that was done to him because he was just bouncing around. He couldn't help it. Instead of just saying I was a man that had no interest in these women, I had no interest in what their dreams, what their goals were. I had zero interest in what anyone else wanted but myself. And I don't know if Robyn even sees that the space he's holding for her now is still conditional on her being compliant and obedient. I mean, I know people don't like Robyn, but again, she grew up in a system that has conditioned her to not say no to the man, to treat him like a best customer. And when she stops treating him like the best customer, he'll do exactly to her what he did to everyone else. And this is not to say that she still can't be cunning and have these man-deceptive and antisocial tendencies, but all of the exes have all said the same thing about her. She kowtows to him. She treats him like a king. He can do no wrong in her eyes. She doesn't hold him responsible. She allows him to just run a mess as long as she gets what she wants. She doesn't have limits for him, and she's loyal to him at the cost of everyone else, including doing all of his bidding for her and tattling for him and, keeping order and the family. I mean, she doesn't have a recipe. Mutual relationship with him. If you read Christine's book, she even has empathy for Robyn because she says that she sees that even though Robyn was a pain to deal with, she still has to walk on eggshells with Kody at all times because Kody is so dangerous and he's so evil and he's so demanding that if she doesn't give in to him, she'll get the anger of him. And I feel like now Kody is just acting like this is what he wanted because he has to settle for the fact that they all left. But even in his statement about Robyn, it shows a disgusting detail about their marriage today that he doesn't look at her as a partner and it doesn't view her as a partner. If he has to tell himself, I need to hold space for her, I need to be more
vulnerable with her, you don't have it. You don't need to tell yourself to do those things if you have someone that you love. If you want to be in a reciprocal connection and actually be a good partner, you don't have to tell yourself to do those things. It just comes natural. I wish we got to see these kinds of clips in the United States. What are your thoughts? Does it
surprise you or not surprise you? Are you glad you heard him say this, or does it, like me, make you feel like sad for the exes even more and actually kind of feel sad for Robyn? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe and join in on the chat, hit the subscribe button, and after 1 hour, you'll be able to write and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.